Hello everyone, hello. Let me know if you can hear me, how the audio is. Hi Jane. I miss you too, it's so good to see that you are here. We are not in the Airstream, I'm in Denver right now, which it's really nice to be home. But the leaves are changing and it's getting cooler, and so we will be headed back to warm weather soon. We're like little snowbirds. How's the audio, Jane? Can you hear me okay? And if anybody else is there, give us hellos in the comments. Let us know who's on the other side so that we can connect. And I'll just get everybody a minute to get settled in, get your space set up, and just get ready to relax and chat and hang out. Audio's fine. Okay, good. Good. Is anything new with you? I see one other person with us. Give me a hello. Hi there. Dream site. I like that. Nice to see you. I know that we have 9 people who RSVP'd on Meetup, so I think that they'll just be kind of trickling in, so I don't want to jump right in. How's both of your days been? And the music compared to my voice, is that okay too? Let me pull up my class notes here. I'm really excited about what we're going to be talking about today. It's basically, I would say, one of my favorite things to talk about. It's really the meat and potatoes of what I do and what I like to do and what I like to teach, and I think it's the meat and potatoes of what allows me to make change in my life, so I'm excited for today's lesson. A good and busy day, good. Even and balanced, I like that. Good. Okay, I had a good day too. I just puppy sat for my mom's new dog. She has a collie, super cute, very big, very floofy. So we had a nice walk. I did some work today, had some alone time, which was really nice. It was just really chill. So today we are going to be uncovering some secrets of the subconscious mind, so that you can finally learn how to make rapid and lasting change to your thoughts and behaviors without struggling to create consistency only using willpower and determination alone. So there's sort of this illusion within the self-improvement industry that you can change your entire life on just a decision and willpower. And so we're going to talk about that today and why that's so difficult, and an alternative way to approach making changes to your habits, making changes to your thoughts and behaviors. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Sharon Clear of Meditation Corporation, and I help you clear your mind using meditation, yoga nidra, and hypnosis. And I help you understand the subconscious mind, and that is really the topic for today, the subconscious, and understanding the subconscious and why it's so important to making change in your life. So if that sounds good, give me a little hello in the comments, a like, a thumbs up, something like that. Let's keep connected, because while often mindful journeys are one of the self, one of an internal journey, it's also one of connection, and so the best way for us to do that is through the chat. So yes, this idea that's often conveyed to you, this illusion within the self-improvement industry is that, okay, to change, in order to change your life, in order to change your mindset, in order to change your behavior, you have to just decide, and you have to be able to change just using willpower. And if you aren't able to change, it's because you haven't tried enough, you just haven't committed, or you aren't disciplined. And this approach can really make you feel like a failure. And I know that taking that kind of approach in my own life has been very self-defeating if you haven't been able to make the changes that you are desiring for yourself. And if you manage not to give up on making that changes, whether it be of the mindset or a behavior or really anything in your life, it can have you ruminating on why you can't seem to solve the problem. So on a conscious level, it's problem in my head over and over again, and it's like, okay, why can't I figure this out? What's going on? And I try to solve it on this conscious level, and it can make you feel like the change that you desire for yourself just isn't possible for you, because maybe there's something wrong with you. Like, maybe I'm just not able to do this. Maybe I'm not compatible with the change I desire in my life. And that really simply isn't the case. It really is just that the problem with this thinking is that willpower and determination are never going to be consistent. You don't wake up every day with a ton of willpower and determination. Willpower and determination is always up and down, no matter what point of the journey you're at. You can think about, going to the gym. Not every day are you going to want to do that. And same with meditation practices and the like. So if you manage not to give up, right, it can be this constant struggle of trying to cling to willpower or override your lack of willpower using determination. And it's incredibly difficult to change when your foundation for transformation is built on something that you can't rely on. And so sure, discipline is not wanting to do something and then consciously deciding to do it anyways, but this is a foundation for change. It isn't stable, and it's going to create more obstacles for yourself along the road, and it creates a very difficult path. So is this resonating? Let me know if this is starting to make sense to you, if this is something that you could experience. And yes, I can definitely turn the music down. Thank you for letting me know. My voice is super quiet too, so if you can't hear me, please let me know and I'll sort of adjust the audio. How's that sounding? And then let me know if this is something that you experience, that when you try to change, you are just consciously trying to just decide that this is what you want, and so you use willpower to really enforce that for yourself. So it's really very understandable that this is the common perspective, that this is the common approach to to trying to establish change in your life. Because on a certain level, it makes sense to think that if you want to change your thoughts, you have to have different thoughts, right? If you want to change your behaviors, you have to do different behaviors. And so through consistency, that's how you establish a habit, right? And this can absolutely be created through consistency, right? Consistency does develop habits. But despite this being the most common approach, it really is the hardest and the slowest way. So I want to explain a little bit about what I call the mind garden method, so that you can understand how to use the traditional approach of your willpower and consistency and sort of this conscious attempt to change, and how you can use a much more powerful method of working with the subconscious mind to establish change more rapidly in your life and with much more ease, and to sort of assist those days, those moments when you don't feel like you have the willpower to create the change that you're seeking in your life. So how does that sound to everyone? And let me pull up our little slideshow here, and we will sort of dive right in. And in the meantime, yes, just let me know how you are feeling about this. Okay. There's like a little delay between the stream and the feed, so comments are just coming in slowly. Yes, Jane says yes, always feeling like I should be able to will it to be so. Yes, been there, yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad this is resonating. Because yeah, and then when you think, oh, there must be just something wrong with me. Like, why can't I figure it out? And so in your head, you end up kind of ruminating on the problem. And that can be very frustrating. And so here we have what I call the mind garden method with the traditional attempts to create change. So the mind garden method is a little bit of a metaphor for how the subconscious influences your thoughts, influences your behavior, and influences your state of being. Light for love, I love the name. She says definitely looking forward to hearing more. Okay, good. So yes, at the bottom, we have your subconscious beliefs. Now, the subconscious mind, and let me kind of explain what that is actually a very large percentage of your mind. It's 98% of your thoughts. 98% of your thoughts, and that is a lot. And they say 90 to 98, somewhere within there. It's a hard thing to precisely measure, but that's kind of what modern science is saying, that about 90 to 98% of your thoughts are subconscious. And what does that mean? Well, the example that I like to use is when you're walking and an obstacle is before you that you don't see quite right away, but you go, oh, oops, and you like move around it, right? You don't consciously need to think about, oh my gosh, there is a rock, I'm about to trip over it, let me lift my leg, let me at the same time breathe and step over it, right? So much of this instant acting, this instant reactions, so much of the thoughts that you feel like just happened to you, all of that is subconscious. It means that I'm not consciously aware of it. And so subconscious beliefs, I would say the vast majority of them develop when you are a child. Because when you're in a child, your brain is like a sponge, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute as to why your brain is so spongy. And it has to do with a very important alpha theta state, which we're going to talk about in a minute here. But from those subconscious beliefs, so these are the things that you learned either habitually or in a heightened emotional state, things that you absorbed passively, subconscious beliefs develop. And from the subconscious mind is unconscious thoughts. So these are the thoughts that you feel happen to you. Conscious thoughts would be thoughts that you've chosen to have on purpose. And unfortunately, we don't, unless you're involved in a very mindful practice, we don't have very many conscious thoughts. Thoughts that I'm choosing to have on purpose. How many thoughts do you think you've chosen to have today? Maybe not very many. I like to think mantras are thoughts that I've chosen to have on purpose. So you can see how we can consciously interject. When you notice yourself having a thought that you don't like, you can on a conscious level say, oh, I'm trying to change my mindset, so I've decided to think this. But that requires a level of awareness, and it requires your willpower to do it in the moment. And this is something that you can do, right? You can do this, but it requires awareness and then the willpower and desire to do it in the moment and to be very, very consistent to establish that change. And from our thoughts create certain behaviors, right? I have certain beliefs, my beliefs create these thoughts that seem to happen to me, and this sort of develops into different behaviors that I have. Is this all making sense? And again, it's just a metaphor, this is a loose diagram, but you can kind of see the framework that we're working within here. Are there any questions at this point? Any thoughts, comments? I started doing this thing where I pour myself a big jug of water and it just feels fancy and it's entirely unnecessary, but I feel like it makes me drink more water. So, let's continue. So, my subconscious beliefs are what I think of within this metaphor as the soil. And we can plant different seeds into the soil, and sometimes seeds just blow in, and from that, it creates plants, okay? And the plants are the thoughts that you have and the behaviors that you have. And some of those bear fruit and some of them are more like weeds. So you can play around with this metaphor. Looks like some comments are coming in. Yeah, I don't know how many times I get stuck sabotaging my way out of success with affirmative thought and action. Yeah, it can be really hard to do. And most of the subconscious beliefs that we have where we feel tension, it's because the mind is trying to protect you. It's old coping mechanisms that no longer work for you. And so it can be this process of conscious interjection. You can see it's very hard, and unless you're consistent with it, it doesn't influence the subconscious, okay? So let me kind of continue with this metaphor here. So let me know in the comments if you do any gardening or planting or things like this, because then this metaphor might resonate with you a little bit more. But I think of the subconscious as the soil, and you can plant seeds with intention, right? And we're going to talk about how to do that. But for the most part, a lot of it is just weeds blow in, seeds blow in. When I'm a child, I pick up certain things and it creates this garden that I have. And from that, certain thoughts develop, and from that, certain behaviors. And some of them bear fruit and some of them don't. And a lot of them tend to be weeds. And this creates a little ecosystem, which I call a state of being, okay? Which encompasses all of this ecosystem. And so the traditional way is to say, if I want to change, okay, I have to pull out the weeds and go to Home Depot and replace it immediately with a new plant. But that plant, and again, this is where the metaphor gets a little rough, so, take it with a grain of salt. But it doesn't have a lot of roots. It doesn't have any roots. So you plop it down and maybe it takes, maybe it doesn't, right? So the idea is there has to be a way for us to work with the subconscious, work with planting seeds that are going to serve us, and then doing routine maintenance to strengthen the seeds that we've sowed. So let's talk about what that might look like. Let me change our little slide here for us. And okay. I need a slide manager. In the meantime, let me know if you have questions. Let me know if anything's coming up for you. Let me know if this is resonating. So let's talk about the maintenance of our soil and planting seeds. Okay, planting seeds. And this is where an NSDR practice, which is meditation, yoga nidra, and hypnosis, really comes in. I think my puppy is eating something. 1 second. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Oh. So we have to be able to work on a subconscious level. And this allows us to be much more intentional about the changes that we're trying to create in our life. And it allows the roots of the plants that the fruits that you're trying to bear in your life, the state of being, the ecosystem that you want to create for yourself, it becomes a lot easier when you start on this level. And so let's go back and talk about an NSDR practice and what that is and why that works. So let me transition once more with the webcam. Come on, honey. Do the thing. The technology. There we go. It's working. Okay. So what do we got in the comments? Creating healthier, more sustainable soil for whatever we feel called to sow and harvest. Yes, exactly. I love it. Okay. So let's talk about NSDR. NSDR is this new term coined by Dr. Huberman, and I'll be honest, he's been a little wishy-washy with exactly what it means, but I think originally that his intent with this term was to be an umbrella for alpha theta practices. So alpha theta brainwaves are very special, and we're going to talk about why. But alpha theta practices are meditation, yoga nidra, and hypnosis, okay? And an alpha theta brainwave state, what the alpha theta brainwave state is very good at and very unique is that it is an incredibly relaxed state. And it is also a state where you can create new neurological connections. So I like to think of an alpha theta state as if you've ever been sledding and there's a fresh batch of snow. And the first person goes down the hill, and the next sledder comes, and if they start at the same point, they end up taking the same path, okay? So your brain is a little bit like this. The more you think certain paths, the stronger they become. Just like the more you work out this muscle, the stronger it becomes. So the more we have certain thoughts, the harder they are to consciously overcome. Because I can have a new thought, but it's much easier for my brain to go down that path. And so alpha theta state is like a fresh blanket of snow over everything. It is a state where more neurological connections are created and developed. And so if we can use this state intentionally, we are able to work with the subconscious mind. How does that sound? Is that kind of making sense? How are you following along with this metaphor? A fresh sheet of snow in the mind. A fresh plot of dirt to start planting seeds. And so let's talk a little about meditation, yoga nidra, and hypnosis and the difference between these two. Meditation is just the act of being in this state, because an alpha theta state has a ton of neurological benefits just on its own, okay? I think of yoga nidra as exploring the subconscious. So in this alpha theta state, it's a little bit dreamlike. You end up in this sort of creative flow. It's very imaginative. So it allows you to explore the mind from a relaxed place. So the practice of yoga nidra is to look at the mind and say, okay, where is there rub? Where do I have subconscious beliefs? Where do I have triggers that aren't serving me? And it allows you to explore that. And then the last bit of this is hypnosis. And hypnosis says, okay, let's use the alpha theta brainwave state on purpose to reprogram the things that maybe we learned in our yoga nidra, to reprogram and create beliefs that are going to support the seeds that we want to sow. So it's planting the seed. So I like to think of meditation as the practice of just being. It's just the practice of being. It's understanding that your garden is beautiful no matter where and what state it's at. Even with its weeds, even with its, misshaped branches, that your garden is beautiful. And sitting in that space helps you remember that this is beautiful. And then yoga nidra says, okay, let's groom the garden. Let's take a look and see where we have weeds and this and that. And hypnosis is planting seeds, planting seeds, planting seeds. Okay? Does that make sense? Light for Love says, oh my God, I've been wanting to try this approach for months. Oh, wonderful. Thanks for hearing me. Very powerful stuff. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here. So yes, we've got these three, I call it the trifecta of your practice. And this is the foundation of my own mindfulness practices, using these three practices to really help me groom and create a state of being, right, that supports the relationship I want to have with my own mind. And so you can get started doing this today, very simply by just learning to meditate. If you need help doing that, I do have a 7-day meditation journey that you can go on at any point, and that is in the description below, and that's a good starting point, is the 7-day meditation journey. And there's tons of yoga nidras within the online community, and same with hypnosis. And then I'm also going to be starting a pilot program for establishing a practice built on these three tools. So, what I would like us to do today is do a little meditation to conclude our practice and allow that to remember that, to take today and what we've learned today, and remember that at the root of that, though, is that no matter what state you are within your self-improvement journey, no matter what state you are within what you might consider your spiritual journey, that just being with that and being with yourself, that your presence has purpose and your being has meaning, and that it is beautiful just as nature is beautiful at all states. Okay? But that you can also bring intentionality to your life and build the garden of your dreams. So thanks for putting up with the corny metaphor. Again, let me know if you have any questions. And let's start to settle into a little guided meditation. And if you really want to dive deeper into this, then maybe get on the wait list for my pilot program, because we'll be establishing a personal mindfulness practice using this exact foundational idea. So go ahead and settle into a comfortable seated meditative posture. And this is just going to be a very lightly guided. So I'll guide you in. We'll have some silence, some time to sit in the garden, to hear what you hear, to allow whatever comes up to come up, to just be in a state of awareness, because all of these practices require first and foremost a state of awareness. If you want to consciously interject, you have to be aware of your thoughts. If you want to influence the subconscious mind, you have to be aware of the subconscious mind. So, meditation is first and foremost a practice of awareness and a practice of deep connection, and should be approached from a place of compassion. So as you sit, whatever arises for you, whether you have a easy and peaceful meditation today, or perhaps the mind is more turbulent, know that all of that is okay. We're just simply allowing ourselves to be. This is time where nothing needs to be done, where nothing needs to be resolved in the mind. We're just simply watching and doing our best not to judge ourselves. Does that sound good? Okay. So allow the shoulders to drop down. The chin is going to become very level to the ground, and we will bummer. I thought I was going to have a little slideshow that said join me in meditation, but that doesn't seem to be working. So we'll drop the chin down, so the chin is level, the shoulders drop down, and just take a moment to notice where you are here and now. With the eyes open, just gaze about the room. Notice the quality of the light in the room. Notice things like colors and textures. Notice shapes and shadows. Really allowing yourself to be exactly where you are, noticing where you are. Notice the distance from you to the front of the room, from you to the walls beside you. Imagine the space behind you, from the crown of your head to the ceiling. And you find yourself here. Bring your awareness a little closer into the body. See if you can notice the temperature of the room. Start to breathe in and breathe out. The connection between the space outside of you and the space inside of you. And as you breathe out, allow the eyes to fall closed. And you're left with just breath. Notice what the breath feels like in the body. Notice the body. Just very gently scanning from the toes to the crown of the head. Not changing, just simply observing. And then we'll notice the mind, state of mind. You might notice certain thoughts coming in and floating out. Just notice. Allow yourself to listen to the mind like a good friend without judgment, without interjecting. Just notice. Just be, just breathe. Notice if there's any emotions attached to any of these thoughts or feelings in the body. No need to judge them or even label them. We're just noticing any emotional energy. And you might notice that you're still breathing. Start to breathe with a little more intention, never forced, just on purpose. Very gently broaden the inhale and allow the exhale to fall from the body. Every inhale grows very gently broader than the last. And every exhale falls heavier from the body like little sighs of relief. Imagine every breath breaks up any tension that you might be holding in your body or your mind. The inhale creates space and the exhale releases. Just like that. Very good. And as you breathe very slowly, very gently, moving in a way that isn't going to change how you feel in your body or your mind, allow the palms of your hands to come to the center of your heart as a symbol of balance in a sort of prayer position. Very gently allow the palms of your hands to rise to the space between your brows. The thumbs are going to touch the space between your brows, and we're going to massage in circles one direction. Massage in circles the other direction. Imagine that this simple action breaks up any tension you might have left in the mind. And with a simple breath, we'll let it go, release some of that. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, let it go. The thumbs are going to draw across the eyebrows and over to the temples. Massage the temples in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. And then the palms of your hands are going to cover your eyes completely. Open your eyes behind your palms, gaze left and right and up and down, and circle your eyes around one way and then the other, and rinse the palms down your face, over your neck, over your arms, over your chest, all the way down to your toes. Be kind to your body, be kind to your mind. Take another big deep breath. And before you move or anything, just notice once more where you are, the physical space. A moment to really find yourself here. A moment to notice the body. A moment to notice the mind, any residual thoughts or emotions. And we'll take one more big deep breath together, breathing in and audibly out. Very good, very good, very good. So, how are we feeling about everything we discussed today? Are there any questions you have left? Any feelings that came up during the meditation that you would like to discuss? Let me know in the comments, and I know that there's a little delay, so I'm going to give it just a moment for anything you'd like to discuss before we leave to come through. And as far as any updates, like I said in the link below, I do have the waitlist open for my pilot program on how to create a mindfulness without difficult meditations or complex routines that don't fit into your daily life. So it's about effortlessness within your mindfulness practice and developing a mindfulness practice that actually helps you create deep-seated contentment despite any adversity that you might be facing. So if that's something that interests you, that waitlist is open. I'm only going to be accepting 8 people into that program, so make sure you are the first to hear about it. Thank you all so much for being here. I really can't explain to you how meaningful it is to me that you've showed up for yourself in this way, because the more that we each on an individual level allow ourselves to fill up our cups, allow ourselves to go on our own journey of inner peace, I think it absolutely is for the highest good of our communities, of our societies, and of the world, for us each to be doing and finding that peace on a personal level. That's how we create world peace. And I know that's super corny, but I really want to tell you that I'm proud of you for being here, and I thank you for spending that time in peace with me. So thank you so much. Connect with me in whatever way you see fit. I would love to build deeper connection. That's what meditation is about, awareness and connection. And so if that suits you, please do reach out. Take a moment to yourself before transitioning into the next part of your day. How can you serve yourself best? And I'm going to stick around, but I'm going to transition to the end screen here. So if you have any questions, then please just let me know, and I'll get around to answering them in the comments section. Good night, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Take it easy and relax and wind down.